welcome to another episode of Let's Be Real. I'm your host, Melissa Kiplagat, and I'm joined by our OG hosts, and ladies first. So I want Dr. C to introduce herself.
So I'm Dr. C. I'm founder of Samantha's Bridal, also a winemaker. If you haven't tried the wine, I urge you to. Available in all the stores.
Yay!
I'm a hustler, number one.
And we have our Samantha wines with us today.
Yes.
We have our white wine. Do you want to say anything about it?
Yeah, so today we are trying out the white wine. The grape is Macabeo. Macabeo is used to make cava. Cava is like the sparkling, not like, it is sparkling wine from Spain.
Lovely. I love it. You guys, it's my favorite. It's my
Spanish,
favorite
yes.
of them. And moving on, Melvin, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Melvin Alusa. I am a professional actor. I'm on every international platform that you want to think about. I'm also a father, and I am an entrepreneur. But more importantly, as you know, let's finish it together. I'm your leading man.
And last but certainly not least, CEO, introduce yourself.
I'm CEO Charles Otieno. I'm surprised that Melissa, I'm hearing that some people are hustlers in this set.
Yes, I am.
Well, I'm not a hustler, but I'm a media practitioner. I'm a managing editor and many other. And a married man, not
One wife.
one
He's
wife.
being very clear about that. Lovely. And I also want to say a huge thank you to Maybelline, our partners, for our amazing makeup. Thank you very much. And going straight into our first story, you guys. Let's talk about Kabiwa Jesus. So Kabi came out recently and said that he had gone through a bout of depression last year. And from what we would have seen on social media at that time, he seemed very, very happy. Him and his family were thriving. But internally, he was really, really going through it. And it begs the question, why is it, I feel like our society right now, why are we so obsessed with faking it? Always presenting this, oh my gosh, we're doing so amazing, we're so rich, we're so happy, when people are really going through it. Why do you think people are faking it so much? Dr. C, do you want to start?
Okay, it depends on how you see it in terms of faking it. I actually don't think they are faking it.
Okay.
They are just, by the way, they are just living their lives, they are just documenting their lives, and they're trying to make a living
Yes.
out of what they do. They're getting
Yeah.
product endorsements, they're doing all that. And about depression, I think people need to know that by the time, you could be going through a situation like that, but by the time you actually accept and own up and go for treatment, it takes a while. And I have to commend him for talking loudly about it, because depression is something that, for some reason, there's this societal, what is the
Stigma.
word? Stigma about it. And a lot of people are suffering in silence because they want to show. I mean, when you look at Kabiwa Jesus, with that huge following, a lot of people want to live their life. So sometimes I think it's very difficult for a lot of these celebrities to acknowledge to themselves. And the first step of treatment is to acknowledge that I am unwell and I need help. And I think that is just exactly what he has done, to acknowledge that he's unwell. And number two, I want to say that with him coming out, mental health is a global problem.
Sure.
And especially even in Kenya now, we are seeing the statistics.
Yeah.
Yeah? By him coming out, because already he's an influencer,
Yes.
it will encourage other people to see that, wow, actually nobody has it together. So I wouldn't want to say that he's faking it, even though some people think he's faking it. Yeah.
Melvin, what do you
I think,
Or CEO, tell us, what do you think about people faking
you see, when we were
happiness?
growing up, there's
Yeah.
something called peer pressure.
Yes,
With this
yes.
generation, the social media pressure has become too much. And my problem with this faking it, I like calling it as it is. Most of these people who are in the social spaces are not living their lives. They are trying to impress people they do not know. Number one, those fans, you've never met them. You don't even who they are. So you have 10,000 followers, you've not even met 1,000 of them. You do not know how they think, what they are. They just want to see nice photos. They just want to see you driving nice cars. So you are pressurizing yourself so much to people you do not know, number one, which is a problem. For me, I think these guys are just faking it, and they're faking it to another level, which is becoming unsustainable. Recently, there are a couple of celebrities who had a road accident. All of them, 6 of them, couldn't even have money to go to the hospital.
Wow.
Yet on the social media spaces, big cars. Listen, guys, grow up.
Yeah.
Just do what is important. Forget about what people think about you. It is your life. It is not what people see in social media that influences how we look at you. Yeah.
And, go ahead.
I think for me, I would separate it with regard to, social media is a business.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
It's a business, and people buy into what's appealing. So if my Kabiwa Jesus, he's an influencer, so he has to show people what
they want to see. Yeah.
Nobody wants to see depression. Nobody even cares about your depression, about your what, and what you're going through. So I think he was just most of them, ile kuwatetea kidogo. They're keeping their pages, in tandem with what they sell. They don't sell depression. They don't sell failure. They don't sell, so they just sell what sells.
Yes.
But for him to come out and say, actually, I may be selling this product, which is happiness, and I'm making it, but in the real sense, I'm going through depression.
Yeah.
I think it's brave. It's brave.
Yes.
It's brave of him, and it's just that social media pages are meant for that, for selling products and selling happiness, selling joy, selling that kind of.
And I feel like for me, even taking it beyond Kabiwa Jesus, just people faking it in general. I was actually having this conversation with my mom, was it yesterday?
Especially even when you see people in marriages and stuff, people are always like, yeah, marriage is so amazing. Oh my God, my marriage is so amazing. Or, oh, I'm so rich and everything. Or even these social media people. My question is, why? We're not dumb. As in, like, we can see that you're lying. You know what I mean?
Yes.
There's no marriage that is perfect. There's no people who are like billionaires. And if you're billionaires, trust me, billionaires are not on social media and telling everyone that they're billionaires. So some of the times where I see this people faking it thing, I'm just like, who are you doing it for? Because if you're doing it for us, we can tell that it's not true. So I even on social media, yes, they're selling what they're doing what sells, but it's also like, how many people actually believe that is their actual life? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's, yes. I don't know if you have a last one.
I do have a last one to actually say.
Yeah.
That I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
With saying that, these people, they are living a fake life and all that. But let's look at who are the next people who are going to be the next dollar millionaires. Dollar billionaires, actually.
Yeah.
That's what we want to talk about. Which are the areas you need to be in? So, of course, we've talked about, and I'll link it to what we are talking about right now. Real estate is still there. Of course, we are talking about things like logistics. It's going to be there. Tech is really big. And as we talk about tech being big, there's a real estate you occupy on social media. So I think what we are forgetting when we say that these people are being fake is that they are it's a business. Being a YouTuber, they are YouTubers. They are what do they do? What does Kabiwa Jesus do? He's a YouTuber, grew from nothing, yeah? His claim to fame is, they were, whatever it is they were doing.
Yeah.
And because of the following they got, they started to endorse brands. And we have seen major media houses struggle and lose business to these people. So they have a product, a brand they are selling. And like you said, the brand is success, prosperity, and all that. So it's a brand they are building. Their brand does not allow them to come out and say,
things are fake.
So they are not being fake.
Yeah.
I think it is you looking at it
It's
and
marketing.
thinking.
Exactly. Yeah, I get it.
So if there's a house you're endorsing, or there's a product, if there's a travel agent, the other day I saw the Kabu saying they've reached the billionaire status. I believe them.
Yeah.
And the Kabiwa Jesus, they've been some of the big celebrities that have been endorsing them. Yeah?
Yeah.
So that's what they do. I
So,
don't
yeah,
think
so I
that.
think what you're saying
but
is it's marketing, kind of like for any restaurant, the burgers in the picture are not actually what you
Yes.
get in real life, but they're not faking it. It's
Yes.
just marketing.
It's just your professional life and
Yeah.
your personal life are different. So if my professional life is I endorse products
so
in happiness
happy,
and enjoy,
yeah.
therefore that's the,
Okay.
An accountant can be stressed.
My
The president
argument,
is even stressed.
Yeah.
my argument is
Yeah, give us a last word,
the
CEO.
real, well, you're saying real billionaires. Kabu has a business.
Yes.
These other guys endorse, and I will tell you that.
It's a media house.
Yeah, those media houses mutate very fast.
Online, yeah.
They very mutate very fast. In the
Okay.
next 5 years, what we know as a social media today
Will change completely.
will not be there.
Yes.
They'll have made money and they will evolve to that new one.
So the people who will be running that social media will have newer people, younger people, more agile people who will do that. What I'm trying to say is the life cycle of this social media business is shorter. It is changing, and Harvard Business Review actually captures it very
Yes.
clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it is not something which is sustainable for a very long time
Yes.
in a person.
But I believe they're making hay.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Right now.
We need
Yeah.
to move on.
Yes.
So I want to talk about something that happened this week, still in
Yes.
relation to societal pressure and whatnot. There's this lovely couple, very lovely couple, as I've seen them on social media.
Family, yeah.
Tall, dark and handsome young man, beautiful wife, lovely child, beautiful. Mwah. And the story is the lady of the house, the husband came back home past curfew hours. So number one, there's a cousin, he's been put on curfew.
Yes.
You're meant to be in the house by 6:30 or 7:30. He didn't come back at that time.
Nonsense.
Which means he's been adhering to the curfew so far. But on this particular day, or not, on this particular day, I think the wife had it and decided to go, to just wreak havoc. She stabbed her 2 kids to death, a mother. Stabbed her 2 kids to death, not tried, actually went ahead and stabbed the husband, who is now in critical condition, and went ahead also and tried to kill herself, which she wasn't successful in doing. So that's a family completely broken down and shattered and completely changed by one lady, let me not even call her a lady, by one woman who has decided to, there were marital issues or whatever she's going through, she will kill the 2 kids, try to kill the husband, and try to kill herself unsuccessfully, and the husband also. But they are now, as we speak, in critical condition. I will not even waste time, and for me, I'll be the first one to comment.
Okay.
And I keep saying this. We also have this incident happening in Kisengere the other day.
Yes.
Women are killing their kids. I haven't seen lately a man stabbing his 2 kids.
It happens.
Because the wife was cheating or doing whatnot.
It happens.
You look at your innocent little girls in the face 2-3 years and you stab them until they die because your husband has come back home late or because you're having marital issues. And then you want to go ahead and say, oh, men do bad things to women. Husbands are doing bad things to their wives. So it justifies. Or nowadays there's this rubbish and nonsense of mental health. Because I'm mentally sick, therefore my shoe is hurting. Mental health, this to me is my conclusion personally. Wickedness reigns nowadays in these homes. This is a wicked woman. She deserves to be, actually she deserves the death penalty, to be honest. I don't know what you think, CEO, about this issue.
Let me tell you one thing. First of all,
Yeah.
I find it very funny. I find it funny that men and women have to put curfew
On each other.
to each other. That means that there's no trust. Lack of trust has become one of the biggest issues in relationships. And if you don't have trust, you don't have why are you in relationship anyway? Why are you married if you don't trust your partner? You should be going a different ways anyway. If you do not trust the man, go. If you don't trust the woman, separate or get a better thing to do. So this woman, I think, pushed it too far. And pushing it too far is by trying to say you must come by 6, you came late, you are stabbing. And sometimes we actually give, when we say that if you want to give something a bad name and then kill it, it's just giving mental health. Sometimes we give mental health a bad name.
Exactly.
Because we have our own shortcomings.
Okay, can I give the other side
Yes.
of it maybe?
Yes.
and I know maybe this is not going to be popular, but I do feel like there are situations, and I won't say just men towards women, but I think even women towards men in marriages, where people treat their partners and their spouses like this one can take anything. I can do whatever I want. I can hurt this person however which way I want. I can treat them however which way and they'll just sit there and take it. People are human beings. There are times where people will crack and people will break and people can have psychotic. Me, I honestly think in that kind of a situation, because it seems like such a tiny thing, he comes home late past curfew and you kill your kids. There has to be a build-up to that. And so my question would also be like, first of all, what has happened so much in that marriage that this woman has felt that curfew must be put in place? You know what I mean? I don't think it's fair to also act like this man is innocent, he's just a perfect husband, and you know, he just so happens to come late home one day, and the woman, because she's wicked, she goes and kills her kids. As in, like this, there has to be bigger things in this conversation, and we also have to look at the way we treat people, we treat each other within a relationship. You can't just push, and there are a lot of men, they row their wives, and you can't push women and expect nothing to happen. People will crack. People are human beings.
And kill.
Well, yes, people have psychotic breaks and kill their kids. And so that's what I'm saying. That's just the other side to think about it. As like, honestly, don't allow someone and not expect them to psychologically break. People crack.
So what's holding you in that marriage? Why can't you just...
That's why I said trust, move.
Up and go. Why are you killing
Can
someone?
I add my...
Okay, yes,
Yes,
please,
of course.
Dr.
My 20
tell us,
cents.
tell us.
You know, actually, and Melissa, you may think it's unpopular, but it's actually not. What you're saying, I tend to agree with you. There is a judgment recently in the Kenyan courts. This lady who had done something like that, and it was extreme. The judge ruled, the woman walked away scot-free, and the judge ruled it is something called extreme provocation. Extreme provocation.
Yes.
And if so, this woman, apparently she's alive, and if she's, obviously she'll have to go in and have to prove her case. I think that's what her lawyers would be arguing on in terms of that extreme provocation. But it just brings us back to what we were talking about, anger management. I think it's important for, just going back to the previous celebrity we were talking about, coming out and say, guys, I cannot handle this well. When people are even breaking up sometimes, coming out fully and saying, not because they are glamorizing divorce or separation, but because it's going to make it okay for somebody else. Yeah? So for everything, there's a give and take. That it is important for, because somebody's just seated there suffering in silence, not knowing how will people take it. Yeah.
But you know, honestly, guys, to be honest with you, I don't even think this is making sense to anyone in this world right now. You're a woman. You have something divinely called maternal instinct. That is why a woman can know, a mother can know. This cry is for changing.
Yes.
This cry is because the child wants milk. This cry is not even porridge. It's for milk. There's a divine maternal instinct.
Now
That's
imagine
what
what
she
you
wanted
want
to tackle them.
for that to be overruled.
So now,
Imagine.
because and it's obvious. It's obvious that it's not even gender-based violence she was facing. It's just because the guy maybe was cheating.
That can have a lot of emotional damage to someone.
By the time a woman takes away her children, and I'm talking as a mother, she's also a
Something
mother.
extreme must have happened.
This is so extreme.
I also wanted to kill some people out here who
But you're not a mother. No, we're saying as mothers,
that
you have-
woman
then
needs
in the wrong
help.
way of deal. But I did not kill.
No.
But guys, what you're
Yes.
forgetting is
Yeah.
that there are people who are prone to some issues. Like that woman probably is prone to anger the way you are saying. But some people are also problematic. If you look at by the statements given by neighbors and even the caretaker, it seems that the man was coming on time most of the time. This woman, there are people who are control freak in relationships. It depends on who you're married to. There are people who are control freaks. There are men who follow their women with phone calls. Where are you? So you reach work. There are people like that. There are women also like that who will say, so who are you talking to? So I saw you, so you didn't pick my call. These things boil into something.
Yes.
So this woman had a problem, a serious problem before, because for you to wait for someone to go to bed and stab him, and then you think he's almost dead and you kill your kids, it's just proper anger. That is anger now.
Yes.
It is just a person who is too angry to think,
Yes.
and it is totally
Extreme
wrong.
provocation.
Yeah.
For
That's
coming
the
home-
name. That's
For
the
coming
name.
home late.
We don't
Something
know
has
the
to be behind-
details.
Yeah.
I'm working
There has to be
late.
something
We
more.
don't know the
I'm hustling for
details.
the family.
I'm hustling for
I
the
can't be
family.
there with you at 6:30 p.m. and then you expect me to make some money.
We
outside.
don't know the details.
Yeah. So talking actually about women and
Yes.
men in relationships. CEO, please take us to the next topic. Let's fight about this one
We-
also.
let's
Let's
go.
fight.
But now, I think let's get into a different topic of
Yes.
the one I don't understand.
Yeah, let's fight.
This thing of vasectomy, men going for vasectomy, I
Yeah.
don't understand it. That a grown man just decides today, and Nameless said he's thinking of it. From where I come from,
He's a reasonable man,
from where I come
a
from,
responsible man.
we are not allowed to do vasectomy. But anyway, up to you, Melissa. What do you think?
Listen, let me tell you something, honestly. I find it, I'm so sorry to the men, I find it childish. I find it childish and juvenile. This whole, oh my God, I cannot possibly have a vasectomy. As in, like, I'm sorry, you've watched your wife get pregnant, what that does to a woman's body. You've watched her carry that child for 10 months, what that does to her body. You've watched that woman give birth to your kids, what that does for her body. And you're going to tell her, because you don't want to go for an outpatient procedure, that she should continue to be on birth control until menopause, which is incredibly bad for her, increases her chances of many cancers. Or you want her to go and do an invasive surgery to have her tubes tied because you don't have an outpatient procedure. Me, I don't know how to respect you as a man. If you can make your wife go through all of that because you don't want to go and have a little outpatient procedure. And honestly, I think it's not responsible. If you have had the children that you are going to have, why not have a vasectomy? Because if you can have your wife tie her tubes, why can't you do it? Me, I don't understand.
Melissa,
Me, I
wait.
find it childish.
Melissa.
Be childish. Now tell us the childish side.
I think, look, well, vasectomy is going overboard because
But tying her tubes is not. But her doing birth control, that will increase her chances of cancer, and
Wow.
God knows even no, because there are not a lot of long
Melissa,
term
you've
studies.
talked.
Those things are okay.
Melissa, vasectomy.
Watching your wife do that is okay.
Vasectomy, first of all, is a recent invention.
A lot of these birth
By-
controls are too.
Yeah, but you see, there's been normal ways of having family planning methods have been there for long, and they have been mostly geared towards the woman. things like and I'm being very because I'm also, I know we have some feminists in the house.
It's not feminism, it's logic.
There is a coil that is non-hormonal, that is not cancerous at
And
all.
it can perforate
it's
your
a very-
uterus.
and it's a
Your
very
period is heavier and more
No, we
painful.
have more success stories of coil working than not working.
My friend,
Ow.
when I was pregnant, I had so many of pregnant
You
women
see-
who are also pregnant on that
You
coil.
see,
So I don't know what you're talking
I can
about.
I can go to a vasectomy, and especially in these hospitals ours, where sometimes they've got wrong diagnosis. A tube can be touched there, and then I become, I can start having, erectile dysfunction, which now will be to your disadvantage. Again, this thing is irreversible. You may decide
No.
to leave me tomorrow, and I'm meant to have kids with someone else.
You can have a
But
vasectomy
because,
that's reversible.
there's someone in this country who, there's someone I know
Yes.
who did a vasectomy because they decided with the wife they don't want kids, and then in a moment of love and being vulnerable, he decided to go for vasectomy. They divorced.
And what's the problem?
Yeah, what's the problem? See, you didn't want to have kids.
You already
so
have
you
children.
can't.
So now I've had a vasectomy. You've left me. I've gone to the next woman. She wants kids. I did a vasectomy with you. Me, I think vasectomy is just not African.
So what about a woman who goes and has her tubes tied and then you
Anyway.
get divorced?
Okay,
Anyway, Dr. C takes it.
So, Melvin, hey, thing is this, yeah, I understand why the two men are so
Anti.
against this, because I think there's a misconception that when you have a vasectomy, your virility goes down.
Of course.
It's a misconception. As science is improving and trying to find the best way to deal with the family planning, I think the conversation we are having right now, there are two conversations. The first conversation is about what I've just mentioned, the virility of men being attached to their personality.
Yes.
And also the disadvantages of all the available family planning methods. I think for a loving, kind man, you love your wife, you care for your wife,
I love
meaning
mine.
her health and everything. I think this is the ultimate.
Listen.
It's,
Yeah.
it's the ultimate.
Dr.
Let
C.
me finish. It's
Yes.
the ultimate.
Marrying is
You
the ultimate.
care
Wait.
that.
Marrying her is the ultimate.
You care
Ultimate.
that, you know, in this particular context we are talking about, and in no way am I body shaming in any way. This is a girl who was willowy and, yeah, and you've seen the changes that actually happen to a body,
It's a lot.
especially when it's just, you just don't know. I've seen people whose bodies really change on some of these medicines.
Yes.
So for a loving husband is going to say, you know what, you're going to not be on these things, let me do it. And the men
Yes.
who've done it very well, they're happy.
But why is it?
Listen.
Because
You guys
I
need to deal
did-
with your
I did-
personality.
I did, so you do. I do, so you do. Look, because so fine. I respect women, and body changes are happening to me as well.
Melvin, I really think you need to research. You need to
we are
research
also
the
going through our
consequences
own-
of birth control on women.
Which you're
and
on,
their
unless
bodies.
we are not talking about
I'm
menopause.
saying-
And
we are
I'm not
talking
talking
about,
I'm not talking about, oh my gosh, you start becoming fat. Okay,
What
so what? How would you feel if your wife is on birth control for all these years, she has your kids, and then she gets cancer because she's been on these birth controls for forever, all because you didn't want to have an outpatient procedure? How will you feel then?
Listen,
There's
Mel-
an hormonal coil, surely, people. What's going on?
There's
the question,
also
I want to ask them,
effects of
Melissa,
that. Okay, yes.
a question.
Yes.
Before vasectomy,
What was there?
what was there?
vasectomy has been around for a
No,
very
for
long
men.
time.
Listen, for men. I'm speaking as an African man now.
You
No,
married
because at
many
that
wives.
point,
No,
you
no,
guys
no,
were
no,
having-
no.
you
I
guys
want to
just
speak
continue
as an
and
African
continue having
man
kids.
because Africa is our business now.
Yes.
But why should we go back to the bush?
No, no, we are not
When
in the
we are
bush.
already forward
No,
moving.
no, no,
That's
no,
why
no.
he's taking
No, and
us.
way back when, that African man that you're talking about, that
Yes.
woman was also not on the pill. She was
Something.
also not
So,
on the
and
patch or
so
something.
the
Yeah.
body were changing,
So
the
what,
body
fine,
changes.
if you want to do that, then be like those men in the village, earn enough money so you can have
Body-
8 kids, so she can just keep having kids and never
Body
have to be on
changes
birth
are part
control.
and
And
parcel.
No, but you're
when you're
saying,
talking
Melissa,
about the
no?
Africa, that bush you're talking about, let's
Yes.
not forget women, by the time they were 40, they were expected to be dead, gone.
Yeah.
The life
And men-
expectancy was very short.
and men-
And they kept
Even
having
men,
kids. Can you afford
the
for your wife
life
to keep having
expectancy
kids
was
then?
No, the
so she
very
doesn't
short.
have to be on birth control.
My argument is,
Can you
it's
provide?
very simple that, from where I come from, my school of thought,
Yes.
that vasectomy can be done by those people who want to do it. From where we come from, vasectomy is a no, no,
It's
no.
a no-no. And also, I think there's a higher agenda.
So let your
You are my neighbor,
wreck
you.
her body.
No.
Which
What a
one is-
man.
Vasectomy,
Vasectomy for who?
Vasectomy is an agenda.
For
that-
what?
Yeah, for what? Vasectomy is an agenda that is being pushed by feministic men and,
Yeah.
and women
I
feminists.
find
So
it-
you bring-
it's
you want to bring us
so
extreme women
selfish.
feminists.
You want-
No, because
It's
also.
so selfish.
Okay, do you know the black man is under attack? Do you know our population wants to be reduced?
Oh, Jesus.
Do you know
But do you know that men are going to,
We're being told about
men
vasectomy
generally
as
in the world are becoming, the chromosome Y, there's a problem with the chromosome Y.
Exactly.
And the male gender all over the world is disappearing.
So they feel that are fertile and are okay. You have to go for vasectomy.
Yes.
No way.
We want to hasten.
If you're not having any more kids, why do you need your
I
sperm
will
anymore?
contribute maybe even, you see, even for tomorrow's use for my sperm, which is very healthy because we are very few. Let me also help others. I can even go and donate my sperm to a sperm bank.
Go do that.
Sperm
I believe you.
Yeah, sperms are reducing in the world. Very few men are.
And you can get
Getting
paid
kids.
for that.
And then the few are being told to go for vasectomy. And then again, we know the black population is under attack. They want us to reduce our population.
And they're
Then they
bringing
go
us LGBTQ.
and then there's LGBT, whatever. We say no. Let's take up the next agenda.
I think we'll go for a break.
Let's
take
go
a
for a break. Let's take a break.
I've had enough.
It's a no-no.
Hey.
It's been hot here,
Hey.
and that's why we tell you, let's get real. It's only in this show that you get all this and more. Keep watching.
New Superstay Vinyl Ink from Maybelline, New York. Shake up your long wear with no budge vinyl color. Color lock formula. Up to 16-hour wear. New Superstay Vinyl Ink, Maybelline, New York.
Welcome back. let's be real. We have very hot stories today. And we want to talk about love. As a lot of you people know, I launched a dating app recently, a matchmaking app. Matchmaking. And we're talking about what are some of the things, silly things, you've done for love. You know, I love people being in love. I have launched that app. What have you done? Maybe I can show something I've done. What have you
Can
done?
I remember
Silly
really?
things.
Silly, no.
Okay, stupid things you've done.
Mine is so silly, but I'll come to it later.
Have I done anything silly? I can't remember anything silly. You see, from where I come from, I told you the first person I dated is the person I got married to. So,
That's so cute.
Yeah. So now I did not try those, but we met on set. Melvin, you remember I said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But listen to Melissa. Melissa, I know you have a
This is
story.
practical.
Yes.
I don't know.
Let me
First of
set
all-
the stage by
yes,
telling
please,
you what
please,
I've done.
No, please go first.
So, so in my younger years, in my very early 20s, so I dated this guy. I really was in love. You know, he would enter a room and I'm there, and my girlfriends would just see me light up. I would just light up completely. And the problem is he thought I'm too educated. He just wanted to marry a woman who was like below him, like a nursery school
Teacher.
teacher.
Yeah.
And I really contemplated.
You wanted to go to a nursery
Yes,
school
to
teacher?
become a nursery school teacher.
Just for him.
I actually thought about it. That's when I caught myself. Then I went to enroll to do an MBA when I realized, no.
Yes.
So at that point we parted. I realized this, but I thought about it.
Oh.
An MBA or a nursery school teacher?
It was a conversation you actually had in your head.
I had that conversation. Like,
That's
how silly.
insane.
Melissa.
What have you done for love?
Okay,
Melissa?
listen.
Remember, I know
Okay,
you very well.
Melvin
I
knows.
know your love journey.
Melvin knows.
So you have a gallery to choose from. Pick any.
I'm not going to say these specifics, but I will say I have been just silly, ridiculous, stupid in love.
Yes.
Either things, but for me mostly it's just like the things me have stayed. You know, there's someone can treat you like trash and you're just there. Let's continue. What? The things me have stayed for me, I don't understand. I don't understand. But yeah, Melvin, those ones that you know, just be quiet. It's okay. But yeah, me, I've accepted trash. And I've just been there with a smile on my face and I'll clean your house even afterwards and cook you dinner. But yeah, I'm not saying any specifics, but you know. People who know me know. Melvin, what have you done?
Well, I think for me, I've been trying to think about this. Where have I been stupid in terms of
Yes.
actions? Like CEO, maybe not. I didn't get married to the lady that I started dating. But for me, I have been in love.
Yes.
I'm a lover man.
Yeah.
I'm amorous. When I love, I love. I've done all
Mr.
those-
Loverman.
Mr. Loverman, I've done all those things for me. I will travel 1,000 miles to come and see you. I will walk shamelessly with flowers in town. I will make you dinner. If that's stupid, it's fine. For me, I have no reservations when it comes to
Yes.
I'm in love with this person. What I have is yours, and we can live this life. So. Of course, heartbreak is normal, and heartbreak has made us what we are today.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't regret the things I've done with regard to giving myself wholly to a woman.
You have walked in town with a bunch of flowers.
I've walked
That's
in town
so
with,
cute.
with,
You
with
have
my-
met-
with a small T-shirt, and I'm like this, and I'm with my flowers, and the beers are on. I'm walking with flowers. I would go down on bended knee in town for you.
That's so cute.
Okay.
I think I'm too much like that
But when I
now.
shut the door, you
Yeah.
didn't know it. I can stay with you for even 6 months down the line, but I shut the door 8 months ago.
I think now for me, it takes too long before I shut the door.
When I leave, I don't leave. I leave emotionally and psychologically,
Yes.
but I don't leave physically fast. I just stay along. And then one day I'll even ghost you.
Kai.
Melissa, why are you saying guy?
But
That's
when I
so
laugh,
harsh.
but when I laugh, I laugh.
That's the thing. I think when I love kabisa, 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 wholly and completely, kabisa, kabisa, kabisa. I just
But
choose
that's
people
why
who don't do
girls
the
should
same.
be wary of men like Melvin.
Yeah.
The ones who come sweep you off your feet, they do all
And they'll
these things and
drop
one
you
day
from the sky.
ghost you.
But
Imagine.
You just
What's
talk
that?
like one of those.
But I'm genuine at the time. I'm genuine at the time. I tell you, I expect the same to be reciprocated. And again, you see, when you start with puppy love, then it goes and become this and the other. We start telling each other what my expectations are, this and this. So when I see maybe what I want, some of the red
flags.
yeah, red
Red
flags
flags.
are deeply entrenched. Then even you now, you
Okay, then let me
your
ask
goose
you
is
this.
cooked.
Those 6 months that you stay, even though
You're
checked
out.
why don't you just leave at that point?
I'm dealing with my mental health at the time.
That, by the way,
6
Melvin,
months.
may I say, in this show we've talked about red flags in the past.
Yes.
That's a red flag.
That's a red flag.
It's a red
Any
flag. Are
man
you seeing
coming
that
like
thing?
that in my
It's a
life,
red flag.
I prefer
It's a red flag.
women
we
want?
simmer and simmer and simmer.
Yeah.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Such that, when there's a climax and we know.
I just walk out.
Yeah? Not that, hey, you came and bamboozled me with this and this. I'll tell you, just stand there.
That's
What
what
are you hiding? What are you
No,
hiding?
No.
Yes.
It's just personality types. Some of us are just
No.
expressive and we hold nothing.
I would tell girls to be very careful.
Yeah, be very careful of men like that, by the way. Yeah.
Okay. We proceed.
Okay, yeah, let's move on.
Let's go to the
Sorry.
second.
Still on relationships, still
Yes.
on dating. There's a content creator who came out and she was just like, look, you women who are out here paying for men's bills and approaching them and pursuing them, stop wasting your time. Because even when you do that, they'll still leave you. And so the question is, women. Should women be, I know we've had this conversation before, and me, my answer is no. That's my answer, no. But should women be pursuing men? Or should we leave the pursuing to them? We don't invest a lot in the relationship so that if he leaves, let him leave, but he's bought me 10 dinners. For some women, he's paid their rent, not for me.
I think
Should
I'll
we
start-
pursue men?
I'll start
Do you
by
want to
saying-
be pursued as a man?
Yes, I completely want to be pursued, and I think the way a woman
Will you
pursues,
respect her if she pursues you?
yes, the way a woman pursues the way a woman pursues a man is different from the way a man pursues a woman. And this is
So
what I
how
mean.
should she pursue?
If first of all you've given me the signs you like me and there could be something between me and you. So for me, you leading me on or you pursuing me in this case would be that when I make a move, please respond. Respond. You're very sure you're a grown up. I'm a grown up. You like me. I like you. I know you like me. You've shown me you like me. And,
So
and,
how
and something
should
can
she show you in a way that a woman should show a man?
When I ask you
Ask
out,
me specific.
when I ask you out, don't playing hard to get. Maybe I'm taking the conversation a bit,
Yes.
but playing hard to get imepitwa na wakati.
It's gone.
We are dealing with taxes. We are dealing with so many issues.
Finance
in this
bill.
life. We don't have time for that rubbish. If you like me,
For
I
that
like
rubbish.
you. When I make a move, and please let me be the first, because for me to make that move also, I've considered so much,
Yes.
and including the fact that you've given me a sign. And then you start playing hard to get.
For whom?
Believe me, I have moved on to filling my taxes. I've moved on to dealing with issues of other issues.
Yeah.
So even in the case where maybe you're seeing, sometimes men need to be waken up.
Yes.
Wake up
Yes.
the sleeping giant in me. I may be, I want to see because women are fast. Make a move. Come to my desk or make that call. Call me.
You wanted to call you? Can she call you and ask you out? Hey, let's go out for a drink?
There's a way
Is
you
that
guys,
too much?
There's a way you guys ask. There's a way a woman asks a woman.
We don't expect you to be overt.
Yeah,
You know-
overt.
But
what
we
are
want you
these
to be
rules?
covert.
Okay, tell
Make
us
the move,
specifically.
it's okay.
CEO, how specifically can she
You see, one,
say I'm interested but without being overt?
you are not supposed to be too on my face also.
Yes.
Okay.
A woman should be, you are initiating the chase, but you're allowing me to do the actual chase. You understand what I'm saying? You've initiated it, but let the man take the chase, like I'm chasing this chick. But the woman, you know from where you sit, that you're actually the one who is initiated this. You've dressed in a way to, the colors he likes, you know what he likes to eat. Sometimes you pass by the coffee or something. You know many things to do, which are non-personal.
Yes.
And then you're like, the guy sits down and says, hey, I think
This is the
Melissa,
one. Yeah.
is the right woman for me.
Yes.
Because the way she treats me better.
Yes.
But that one does not mean that you come and say, hey, today, tunadunda wapi.
Okay.
Yeah, surely. That's
Okay.
overt.
Okay, Dr. C, give us our last words on this. Do you think women should pursue men? If so, how?
Well, they should pursue, but there's an art to seduction. There's an art of seduction.
In fact, there's a book, The Art of Seduction.
Yes, it's an art.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's an art in such a way that there is the green light you can give. Men will always know.
Yeah, they will know.
Even if you hide, men will always know. And there's a way you can seduce. Yeah? And lead them on in a very tactful way. That you are not in the face, that they will follow you and bring the world to your feet. There's lots of atlases there holding the world like this. They're so tired. They want to bring you to your feet, but there's an art to that seduction.
Okay. I think that's a good way to end that
Yes,
topic. There's
yeah.
an art, women. There's an art. Okay. Melvin,
Yeah.
you're taking us to our sorry.
Yeah, of course. You know, still in relationships.
Yes.
You know, there's you know, it's interesting the way men and women have got different expectations in a relationship.
Yeah.
And normally I feel that men don't set the bar so high in this case.
You guys set
The
it
bar-
so low.
the bar-
It's
the
on
bar-
the floor.
You know, because men are when a man loves his love, he disregards
You just need
your
to
social
eat.
standing. He disregards what you do, what you don't do.
You just have to be a female and free.
What?
Okay,
but
Melissa.
but with women, women seem to have really, some women in this case seem to have some really high expectations. A long list that falls over the other side, which obviously nowadays is becoming, you know, it's actually unattainable for a woman.
Are you talking about Melissa?
For example,
I will
Melissa
not
here.
accept
Yeah.
You know,
this. I
you
will
want
not
you want a
accept.
man that is, of course, the tall, dark and handsome has never left that list from time immemorial.
Yeah.
Tall, dark and handsome, under 40, has...
It can be 40.
has-
I don't mind. It can be 40.
under 40 or above 40 should have a blue collar job, high rise,
Yeah,
travel
has to
the
make
world,
good
well
money.
educated, doesn't have a child, has had maybe at least two girlfriends at most.
No,
Body
I never said that.
body
What's an
count.
expectation?
I never said that.
Body count, two
No,
body count at 40, two body counts can take care of me.
Yeah.
In Kenya now, 67% of mothers are single. I respect them, of course. But in this country, in this day and age also, so I have a child as a lady, but I don't want a man who has a child.
Yeah.
I won't take care of that. So the list is so long.
Long.
No man can actually tick and get even just
Quarter.
a quarter of that. So my question is,
Yes,
guys,
yes.
we are people here who are very mature. Do you think these expectations from women are realistic? Are they attainable?
Can I just
Are those kind of men even existing in this day and age?
can I first clarify? My list is you need to be older than me. You need to have at least as much money as I make or more. Please, I would prefer if you did not have a child because I just like me. I know the complications of a blended family. That's it. That's it.
But
Is
you
that
know-
long? Is that a long list?
But
Not too much to ask.
That's not too much to ask. Don't be over
But you
your
know-
partying phase. I'm over that phase. You can't smoke
Huh?
anything. You
Surely.
can't smoke anything. No, me, I can't have. In the house where my child is, someone is smoking. Me, I can't have that. I don't allow drugs in my house. That's it. Was that long? I do think some women have unrealistic expectations, but me, I also think my expectations are very realistic. That's all I'm saying.
The same way,
They're very realistic.
Melissa, the same way you think those women have unrealistic
Yeah.
lists is the same way as we think you have a very unrealistic.
But this is my thing.
What
should
about
my
if you're...
standards be in the ground on the floor? Because
No,
me
no,
don't
no.
understand which one of those should he not make money? So should I be the
He
provider?
should make money. He
Okay,
should
fine.
provide. What
He
is
should
the
be older
basic
than me.
rule for a man?
So the only one you're saying is unrealistic is for him not to have kids.
Yes. Do you expect a man over 40 years not to have a kid?
Yeah.
Or to have had
Or to have a kid somewhere?
He can have 5 girlfriends. I don't care.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you, is
But
there,
there's
is
no
there a
reason
eunuch?
women-
There's so many men in this town over 40 without children.
And they're good, upstanding men.
Yes.
But again, you see, for
Those
I
men
think,
are the ones I
I
want.
think women who are mothers should. This is something. they should rethink having perhaps a boyfriend who doesn't have a child in this sense. Men that have children will tend to be on your level emotionally and psychologically. We can really understand each other.
Yes.
For example, if you tell me, hey, babe, tonight I can't come, my child has fallen, my child has a fever.
Yeah.
If I've got no experience with children, I'll be like, what the hell is a fever? I'll catch tantrums, I'll be throwing my legs in the air because I won't.
Then you're the wrong one.
Yeah, you're the wrong one. I'm
What
sorry,
I'm
but
saying,
I come from a blended family myself.
Therefore, be open to a man that has at least had a CEO. Dr. C, what do you think about this?
Blended families are very complicated.
The long list of expectations.
Yes.
Yes.
I think, first of all, the women are not wrong to expect that.
Thank you.
First of all, we must
Gosh.
understand we still live in a world that is still very paternal. Yeah, very, very paternal. There are so many things that are working against women. Plus, we live in a world, even in the workplace, when you look at even board representation for women, when we look at even just so many things working against women. So women are right to have those higher expectations of men.
But
They're
you
not
see,
high,
but
you
you also,
guys,
occupy.
honestly,
But you see-
those are not high expectations.
but you see
Yes.
also you have to think about it this way. With the empowerment of women these days, since Beijing 1995, women have been worldwide. Women are
There's
now-
a lot of
women
movement.
are educated.
But-
Women are sitting in boardrooms.
But I still don't
women are
be the
making
provider
decisions.
of my
Women-
marriage. I don't
Nowadays,
will.
jobs are being given. By the guys, jobs are being given
I
to
don't
women.
want to
But
be
on
the
the other-
provider
you
of
know,
my
So understand,
marriage.
if you're earning a 6-figure salary, most likely the man that maybe wants you doesn't earn that 6-figure
Then
salary.
he's not the one that wants.
Therefore, don't put an expectation on me. We have to live in Lavington. You, if I'm in love with you and I live in Umoja, phase 2,
No.
when you come down that level, can we live together in that room?
No.
I
First
think
of all,
it's
how
to
we
each
live
their
together.
own, to each their own, to say the truth.
Yeah, but
But
no.
let's not demean the fact that there's very many women in this country today in marriages where they are earning more than their husband.
course.
And those marriages are working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just that women need to think a little bit in terms of some of these men, when you are doing better than them, you just
catch
become
feelings.
frustrated. They catch
Yeah.
feelings. They just so it's in terms of expectations that at least the level of thinking. The one thing I knew and I know and I knew for sure, I was never ever going to get married to any man who was lower than me in education, in intellect, and all that. Even if we haven't started talking about the bank account,
Yes.
But you
the
see,
intellect has to be higher.
education is just one
Yeah,
thing. Education is
intellect.
just one
No,
thing.
no, no. Well, I'm not talking about
Intellect.
papers. I'm just
Yeah.
talking about
Intellect.
intellect.
There's
But
in-
of course, it comes with the papers sometimes. And yes, bottom line, women have a right to have those expectations.
You see,
But you do know also, because if you're talking about academic intelligence, you do know also there's social intelligence, there's emotional intelligence, and studies have shown, for example, that people generally in life, as you will agree with me, who academically excel are not the ones actually who succeed in life. People with, therefore, emotional intelligence and social intelligence are the ones who actually go
Yes,
further in
it's
life.
true, it's
so,
true.
So when you judge me that I have a master's and me, for example, I have a Form 4 degree, but you're forgetting the emotional
Form
and
4
the social
paper.
side.
Mine doesn't
then-
have to have a
A
master's.
last
then-
one.
then
I
you
want
see-
to
I have
point
a
out who is
master's,
the
but it doesn't have
richest
to
man. The richest man in the world right now, actually, from South Africa, Elon Musk. One of the reasons why he actually left South Africa was because there was the cut off of the white community because there was the black integration. Yeah? So he actually left because he was so intelligent and he got a better placement in the US. Yeah? He's the world's richest man.
yes.
He's
CEO,
very
So-
intelligent
CEO,
on
what do you
paper
Yes.
and in life.
Yeah.
My argument has always been why sometimes men prefer, you know why men fear women who earn more than them? Because of one reason. The woman's money is her money. The man's money is the
Her and her
family
kids,
money.
in fairness, may feel like women
Yeah.
spend a lot of
So
money on
now,
their children.
this man will have a lot of pressure to trying to satisfy all the needs of the family. Yet his salary, like you want to take your kids to Riara or bigger schools than that, more expensive schools, and you don't have that money. So it becomes a big problem. My issue about expectations is that let's make expectations manageable. You know, it's a give and take. You might find a guy who is very intelligent or socially, emotionally, or
Yes,
even,
yes.
but has a kid, but is very good with kids, Melissa.
Yes.
I'm just saying, me, I come from a blended family. I'm just saying, I know the complications of blended families. There's already a complication on my side. Now we're going to have complication on both sides. It's a lot. It's a lot of complication.
My partition on this topic would be this.
Yes.
Would be this. If we have this amazing list of expectations, as a woman, in terms of be mature enough, therefore, to say, I have my list of things that are complete. Here, I won't compromise. But there are certain things on that list
I
you can
can
say,
amend.
I will help my man achieve this. I'm in a better position to help him achieve this. For example, if financially he's not on your level, then get him a deal here and there if you're able to. Help
If I'm
this
able
guy.
to, yeah,
help,
sure.
Yeah, because no man worth his salt wants to sit back and get charity and handouts from a woman. But if you are able to, nipatie deal pana pale, therefore, in this list, or else people will be doomed to be single for a long time. Nisaidie, since 80% of your expectations nisaidie to achieve.
You're taking us to break, Melvin.
Okay, we shall be back here on Let's Be Real. We're not taking a break, a small break, but don't touch that dial. It's getting hotter, it's getting more heated, and we shall be back with more interesting topics even as we finish. So, Let's Be Real. We'll be back real soon.
Welcome back to Let's Be Real. The first section it was heated. Melissa giving us a long list of expectations, which we've
Just for
rubbished.
things. Just for things.
In this episode, she must be realistic, by the way. But
Exactly.
anyway, in this segment, we want to talk about many other things, the finances, of course, and other
Yes.
things. But let's start with my good friend Eric Omondi, the comedian, the man who is championing rights of Kenyans abroad. But recently, Eric Omondi went to UK. He's in London. He was seen in the streets trying to collect some money, and anachangishia wa Kenya pesa in our lingua. I found it very funny that you, a celebrity, let me put it, Dr. C's social media influencer, is in the streets of London collecting money on behalf of Kenyans. 360,000 shillings. What's your take, Melissa? You're shaking your head.
I'm over it. I'm so over these content creators and these nonsense stunts that they pull. I'm honestly over it. I saw like a little clip of it. I'm just over it. I have no words. I'm just over it. Stop it. I get that's how he makes his money, by doing these ridiculous things, but it's ridiculous, it has no taste, and I'm over it. I'm over it. Content creators, please, be more creative. Do something more creative, because this kind of nonsense, it's tiring. I'm over it. What do you think?
I think with Eric Omondi, you really don't know when he's serious and when he's not, and what cause comes from his heart. And
Yes.
when
There's
doesn't.
no cause that comes from his heart.
The other day
Which ones?
The other day he went to champion the rights of to kutetea content creators when it came to the taxation. His finance bill.
Yeah, that was selfish, because he's one.
Yeah, but
wasn't goodness of his
yes,
heart.
but you see the noise he made on social media. Eventually, that bill was amended. I think it came down to some percentage went down. Can't quite follow, but he made noise about it. He was very vocal about it, and then eventually he achieved something for the content creators. But now, so that one I can say maybe came from a good point where also he's one. But however, with the London one, I think I don't know how to look at it, but I may choose to look at it this way. I don't mind the world. Basically, he's airing our dirty laundry in public. I don't mind the world knowing how the current regime is very oppressive, or rather, coming up with very punitive bills in this country. I don't mind the world knowing, even if it's through this kind of thing that he's doing. I don't think he meant anything with it in terms of kutetea wa Kenya from his heart, like it was genuine. But I may want to look at it as that it has achieved something whereby someone may want to look at it like, what's really happening in Kenya? And maybe they will stumble along this heavy, punitive bill that has gotten, that now we are yoked with. I'll choose to look at it that way. But I also won't Of course, I know very well that Eric Omondi is sometimes just very childish and he just wants to get attention.
Dr. C, what do you
Dr.
think?
C, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking the
Yes.
proof is in the pudding. Here we are,
Yes.
4 individuals
Of high
on
net
a
worth.
national,
I hate it.
you know, we are actually talking about Eric Omondi. Obviously, he has achieved something. And I think so that Eric Omondi is somebody, I find him really funny. He's a true comedian. Yeah, I've worked with him in the past with my horses. You guys do know that I own 4 white horses, right?
My good, you own
Do
what?
I say?
Hey,
Yeah, that said, Eric Omondi has entered, I can see him, I can clearly see in the next 5 years or 10 years where he's going to be. He doesn't want to do the regular. Why would he? Did I pronounce it well? My daughter said regular.
But no,
Yeah?
Don't worry.
that's
That's okay,
He
because
doesn't want to do
it's
the
a-
regular. He's doing the man-eat-dog thing. You know, he could have gone to the streets of, I don't know where in Nairobi here to beg. But he went to London. He's doing some level of activism. And he has his own people he appeals to, mainly the younger people who need to understand. For somebody like me, actually my president, in terms of the president who determined my financial future, was actually Kibaki. In that time, I laid my foundation. The younger people right now who've just entered the
Job market.
voting bracket, 18 to maybe another 15 years, their president is this current, and whatever they are doing right now is going to affect how, whether they are going to be high net worth individuals, which we shall be talking about later, or not. And so I think so that I would not ignore Eric Omondi. There's something he's doing. He's doing activism, just not in your usual way. And I thought, wow, I saw it and I thought, wow, Eric, your antiques have gone really high notch. And why not? Yes, that's what people will listen to. Yeah.
You see, Dr. C, whatever he does in London does not have any direct impact on us. I always tell about this story many times that when Kibaki took over power in 2002, there were 2 people who went, there were 2 sets of people who went to New York to discuss issues with Kenya. And one person was a Kalenjin and the other one was a Kikuyu. And this Kikuyu gentleman was very critical of Kibaki regime. Very critical. So now the white man who was listening thought that since we are very tribalistic in our nature of doing things, thought that the person who was critical of the government was now Kalenjin and a Moi supporter. So the person who was there, who was Kenyan, told them, by the way, you are wrong. This guy is actually from the same tribe. He said, what do you mean? But we know Kenyans, we fight among us tribes. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes it is not worth it washing our dirty linen outside. Because these things we can deal with internally, because the person is, if you are going to say that thing to the right audience, which makes decisions, let's say you are in the parliament of the UK where there are leaders, are those characters who are walking in the streets of London, those characters,
Yeah, what is that supposed to do for anyone?
those characters who have no home, some of them, they care nothing about the Kenyan public.
But we are talking about Eric Omondi as we sit, and his aim, his target audience, by the way, was not even the London people. His target audience is Kenyans who are online, who are, how can I do something that will, I think that was his question, how can he do something that will override the current, what everyone is talking about, yeah, to get these people in their head. Not that we don't know there are Kenyans who are suffering. There are Kenyans who are suffering today. But how can his message ride above everything? I don't think he was targeting those British people at all. And as who hasn't talked, because I want to talk about high net worth individuals.
Yes.
So every year, a company in Kenya called the Knight Frank, but it's an international company, Knight Frank. They normally do a survey of the rich people. okay? High net worth individuals all over the world, and they have a branch here. And according to what they said the last time, Kenya has about 8,000 high net worth individuals. These are individuals who have at least $1 million. What I'm not sure whether it's over, whether that includes even your current residence, but in assets. But from my financial background, the home that you live in is not an asset. That is not an asset. Your asset is, an asset is something that you can actually use. So over and above your primary residence, you have more than $1 million. $1 million is about 135 million Kenya shillings. So these are the high net worth individuals. So there's another international company called Henley that did an international survey of where the migration, where are the high net worth individuals moving to. And when they came to Kenya, they found that in the last 1 year, 22% of high net worth individuals are planning or they have already left in that. So that is an increase from 21% that was last year. And most of them are citing the punitive taxes. There seems to be some instability, especially before we went to elections, and even now there's this maandamano. So most of them are thinking of leaving. So this is what we should talk about. What are my thoughts? My thoughts that I have actually thought about, like, okay, perhaps I actually need 2 or more. I should diversify.
Yeah.
I've actually really thought about it. Yeah, seriously. In the past, obviously, I have diversified, but I've thought about it.
I think
It's very unstable right now.
I think it makes perfect sense, especially when it comes to taxes. I know, like, the very wealthy, taxes are a big deal, because 30% tax when you're making a certain amount of money, or even 10% tax when you're making a certain amount of money, is a lot of money that you're giving. Me, I don't even know where they're going, though, because we feel like where the world is not suffering. I feel like everyone is suffering. So yeah, I think that would be my biggest question, and what I'd be interested to see from that survey is, where are all these wealthy people going? Which are the countries that they're going to?
I'll clarify that. Actually, the countries they tend to go to are countries that are more stable.
Like the Monacos?
Like Monaco, for example, Mauritius, Seychelles. A lot of these people tend to go in those. There are some countries that are just
like tax havens, kind of
tax havens, but also they're relatively, and those countries have fashioned themselves to actually get in this kind of people. In fact, if you do not have that level of finance, you would not be let in. But I have something to say. I know I've already spoken, but I have something else to say regarding that. What I know the level of taxation. The problem I think Kenyans have with taxation is that half the time we don't see where this money is going to.
Yeah.
The scandals in this country about our tax money. I just saw how many billions allocated to hospitality, to just serving tea and all the hospitality. People are taking private jets. This is what is annoying. But if the money was being taken, being put in primary health care, just health care per se, like we are all really enjoying, and we don't have a recommend is going to collect money for poor people.
Yeah.
You see, and that's what a recommend is trying to say. Remember, there are poor people in Kenya.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I think I completely agree with you, because the political landscape of any country, if, when you're a business person that has high investments in a certain region, you are very keen to see the political outfit that is in charge at the time. And unfortunately, what we have now, the regime that is in power now, doesn't give confidence to any investor, be it a small-time investor or even a big-time investor. So you can imagine, these are people who are able to move. But I'm sure, given the opportunity, even a Mama Boga would move to Tanzania. Because we are looking at now, some draconian finance bill has been passed in Parliament. How it was passed, we don't know. That's a story for another day. However, so these heavy taxes, yet you're not making enough even to pay those taxes. And like you're saying, if these taxes therefore we are being taxed, but somehow the money finds and generates its way back into the economy to build it up. Therefore, I would be confident that I'll pay the tax. However, I'll make something, you know, at the end of the day. But this is not the case. Also, just looking at the outfit of the government and how the head of government has, you know, chosen or rather put people in place in parastatals, in government agencies. When you look at the people that are there, they are completely questionable. So they don't inspire confidence at all in investors. So being a high-level investor who is able to move even just to a country like Tanzania that seems to have some stability, I won't even think twice. So that's what we're seeing now.
CEO, do you think that it's short-sighted? Do you think that maybe these guys should just wait it out, like the world is going through a downturn economically, they should just wait it out or wait for the next regime to come instead of moving, relocating?
You see, one of the biggest problems is what we call our political economy. Our political economy is a 5-year where we have elections, and our elections are always very contestable.
Tense, yeah.
And there's no clear winner, or if there's a winner, there's always question, and there's a lot of stuff, which brings a lot of upheaval. And then after election, so we start managing election after the election. As in, you go to election, and after that election, we had an election in August, and people are busy campaigning. The president himself is still campaigning. He's not in the work mode. He's still doing the rallies, and he's on top of the car still. So these are the things which influence these high net worth individuals to leave, because there's no time set out for now work. But secondly, the biggest problem we have is that there's no single country in the world who have taxed themselves to success or to growth. You can never tax your people to development. You will never succeed. As much, even if you want to tax 50% or 100% of their salary. First of all, if the government of today, by inward looking, and I mean the budget which was passed yesterday, it is more inward looking than outward looking. Inward looking in that it is the fact that you want to borrow where private people or entities would have borrowed. The government is going to compete with the local investors to borrow in the same market. So that means that an individual like Dr. C, when she wants to look for money, the government is also going for those financial institutions to look for money. So that it means that the money is scarce when you can't compete with your own government in borrowing from the same market. So now, and then you are still being overtaxed. You're being overtaxed, and this tax is going, like the housing. For a very long time, when they were telling us is that they are building for us houses, they didn't tell us it is actually a tax. And when it came yesterday, they said actually this is now a tax, and they don't expect houses. So we are not expecting houses. But why? The government did not come clean to tell its citizens that we want to tax you. We are not saying that we'll give you houses, you'll loan after 7 years. The government actually lied to its people and saying that they will give you houses after 7 years, you can reclaim your money, only to realize it is not true. This is being taxed. So my problem with the organization of why net worth people are going is because you are overtaxing them. Yes. And secondly, you're not giving them a conducive environment to do business. So even if, for example, even in the business of just, let's say you want to shoot a movie, you'd rather go, you have all the locations, but the taxes, what you're going to pay, you can't even shoot it here. You go to South Africa.
The other thing I want to add also, it's not even just the taxes. The taxes, but on the politics, and there's the taxes. The fact that every other year, our taxes are always changing. So you cannot plan. Like you really cannot plan. And when you look at the number of industries that have left, our power, the scandals with power, Kenya Power, that, you know, people literally, companies are just parking and leaving.
So what you guys
people
are saying
busy politicking.
is that these high net worth individuals are seeing the writing on the wall,
Yes.
They don't see a better future coming, so they're just like, there's no point.
Yeah.
Okay. And talking about that, as our high net worth individuals are leaving the country, let's bring it back down to those of us who are not, we're on our way to being a high net worth individual, or just the common wananchi. If you had the choice to leave, or do you think that people, the common wananchi, if they had the choice to leave, let's say they get a green card in the green card lottery, do you think that right now the way things are, but also keeping in mind everywhere there's economic downturn everywhere in the world, do you think that people should leave if they get the chance to leave the country? Or do you think people should just stay here, struggle through it, and wait for better days?
I have something to say.
Yes.
I'm going to comment first.
Yes.
So by the way, there's another study also
Okay.
done all over the world about not just measuring, the happiness index one is different, but there's one that measures how people actually want to stay. So they did it, the last one, last year, Nigeria, like 95% of Nigerians wanted to leave their country. They just want to leave. Yeah?
Wow.
When they came to Kenya, they found that in South Africa was almost the same, about 70%. When they came to Kenya, they found that actually 90% of Kenyans wanted to stay in Kenya.
Yes.
Only 10%. We were the only country in Africa that the citizens wanted to stay. The percentage of
Interesting.
people who wanted to leave were just 10%. 90% of Kenyans wanted to live in Kenya. What did they have on their minds? They just wanted to, what they found is that Kenyans, every other Kenyan wanted to start a business. They didn't want to leave.
Yes.
They just want to start a business. Yeah? Very few actually want to be employed. And I thought, wow, it is so Kenyans are very patriotic. We want to stay here. We want to stay in and make things really good. I found it a very, very interesting survey.
And honestly,
Yeah.
living in Kenya is amazing.
Yes.
Our weather is great. Our people are great. Okay, fine. There obviously our politics, our taxes, things could be improved upon. But the standard of living in Kenya, especially compared to some of these other African countries, is actually great.
Yes.
There's a reason why a lot of people, expats, are coming into the country, and once they come, they stay for forever. So it's amazing. But you, Melvin, if you got a green card today, you applied for the lottery, you got a green card today, are you leaving us? Are you staying?
I think for me, I would put it this way: I would leave but not leave. For me, opportunity to work outside, because I'm an actor.
Yes.
I would do it like Chris Hemsworth is doing it. He works in LA, but he lives in Australia. He once lived in LA, but he decided to go back home. I've had the opportunity to live outside Kenya for a year with my family, and I'll tell you one thing: that the stress levels of just being away from home. People think being with all our nonsense going on, I can still call you Melissa. Hey, Melissa, apa hivi leo nikunoma, do something, you know, or
you have your community, your network.
We are
is
suffering,
there.
but there's some sort of support.
togetherness.
Anybody in their own zone or own home have their own support. So I think people who may want to leave may not. You may be thinking of, okay, I'll get greener pastures. It's going to be fine. I'll create a new environment. But even IOM, International Organization for Migration, has stated that after death, the highest stress level for a human being is moving. Even just moving from Mombasa to Kitale. Forget about moving outside the country.
Yes.
So me personally, I would work outside, but
Come back.
still live in Kenya and pay those punitive taxes.
CEO, what would you do?
I'm not
given the
leaving.
chance?
I'm not leaving this country anytime soon, anywhere, and going nowhere.
There's that song.
And for reason, because one, I like to be in company of my people,
Yeah.
and I like the food I eat. I like my own food, the way it's cooked. If you tell me where will I get those tsitsuas and apot and where will I get those things?
Yeah.
They will think.
Why will you get a
There's an
man?
industrial Kenyans
Yeah.
who
No.
actually export them.
I will just want to eat my own food, slaughter my own goat without being taken to jail because of,
You're slaughtering someone's pet.
yes. And I would like to share it with my friends.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
And with my family. at this level, there are some levels. If I was a bit younger, maybe I would have considered. But for now, hi. No.
Okay.
You know, as we are talking before we end,
Yes.
there is this song. Today we can end with a song.
Yes.
My land is Kenya.
Yes.
Roger Whittaker.
Yes. Can we, like, producer, this should be the song.
But
As I
again,
look for it,
but do we have the rights for that song?
We don't.
You know, singing someone's song.
it doesn't matter whether we
It
have
matters.
whatever, but no, we can sing it. I think that
You have money to pay for that song.
the intention is what I'm not saying like we play it in that way. The intention is what matters. He really celebrated Kenya, and I've always felt like you can go everywhere, but for me, my land is Kenya. And one of the other songs that I always like is that independent song of Kanyaga inchi yako kwa nguvu na raha. That song,
Kenya
like when you walk like
Yeah.
you are Kenyan. I mean, we have challenges, but Kanyaga inchi yako.
And it's only in
na
Kenya,
raha.
by the way, you can abuse the president, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our freedoms are in another level.
Yes.
Go and
He
try it somewhere. You
He
insult
insults
us.
us, we insult him.
We insult you back.
So even with all our problems, imagine we love our
celebrate.
home.
Yeah.
We love
We
our
celebrate
home, we
Kenya,
love
yes.
Kenya. That's such a good way
If
to
you
end
want,
the show.
if you want to move,
Yes.
you can move by importing a wife for a husband. A single man like me with I'll take this opportunity to market myself. But I'm a single parent of a number of children, and you know.
Women, you part.
But also on that note, we take you to celebrate Kenyan brands, like Samantha Wines.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I
Samantha
always
Wines.
say, when you look at a lot of the American brands, there are American brands, even if they are made in China. So give me this bottle,
Yes.
tafadhali. So this is a quintessential Kenyan brand. We've been around for the last 20 years. And as Kenya, we ask you to support us by buying this wine if you're a wine drinker. We are in the process of, we have like 100 acres. We are planting vineyards right now in Kenya, even though currently our vineyards are in Nanyuki. Can you imagine the jobs we will offer?
Yes.
You climb the mountain, come down, you have an experience,
Yes.
the tourism that we will bring because of this product. So let's build Kenya. Let's not leave.
Yeah, and don't
Tukae
just
tu-
and don't just buy the
tujenge.
wines because you support them. They're actually amazing wines. They
Yes.
actually taste really good. So thank you for bringing Samantha Wines to us as normal every week, and thank you to Maybelline for our beautiful makeup. That was a really nice way to end the show, you guys. Yeah, so tell us what you guys think about all our topics, even those ones where we fought about standards,
fought.
about vasectomies, about all those things. Please let us know in the comments what you guys think. And we will see you again next week on Let's Be Real.